Oh, that is hilarious. In this video, I am very, very happy to finally be putting a Smart Roadster through its paces. Obviously, if you've been following the channel, we have our own Smart. It hasn't gone very well. I have driven it about this far so far. So we're looking forward to doing a great many more miles today in this lovely 2003, I think it is, Smart Roadster. It was introduced in 2002, known as the W452, the original Smart being the W450. And yeah, a little sports car. Take the mechanics of a Smart, stuff it in the back. So it's rear engined, rear wheel drive. We have got that gearbox. We'll see exactly what we make of it on the way. But mostly, look at the styling. It's absolutely gorgeous. This characterful little face with all this plastic. This one is in particularly lovely condition, and I love color contrasts on a car. Thank you very much. We've got this lovely grey going on to contrast with the blue, but we've also got the Tritium safety cell in this one in silver, so more contrast there. I don't like cars being all the same color. I like this all mix it up sort of style. We've got a soft top that folds down electronically into what attempts to be a boot, and it's quite a bit longer. We're about 3.5 meters long, which is a full meter longer than a Smart. Much lower and very, very sporty. I absolutely fell in love with these cars when they were new. I could never afford one, not that I told the dealers. I did drive quite a few of them back in the day, but yeah, it's nice to be reunited with one. So let's take a closer look around. So we pulled a little handle, got this little slidey bit up here, but otherwise frameless doors. You can remove this section as well, but I'm not really sure why you do that. I don't think it's going to change the driving experience. There is somewhere for them to go in the boot, but and I suppose it makes it easier getting in, but it's not too bad, even for someone of slightly taller stature such as myself. And once you're in, it's a really nice driving position. The legs stretch out, you sit really low down, and the seats are really comfortable. The key goes in the middle as per the normal Smart. What it actually does is locks it in gear when you take the key out. So I think if I actually put it in reverse, I think I could lock it into that position, but the gear lever won't move either way until I turn the key again. Very similar themes to the regular Smart, right down to the very quiet indicators on the hazard switch there, central locking button, heated rear window. Would have air conditioning buttons if it was so equipped, but this is a fairly lowly spec one. It hasn't got the flappy paddles that some of them had. I found when I was test driving them before that because the steering is quite low geared, there's quite a lot of turning. Trying to keep track of where the paddles are was a pain. So you can either just leave it in automatic mode, or you can use it to manually select the gears. It will override down to first if you come to a stop. You don't have to manually select it. But yeah, similar themes otherwise. We've got a tiny little ashtray down there, a little bit of storage that's just fallen. I'm not sure that's meant to happen. That's fine. Little storage bins. We've got a glove box of a reasonable size in here. Airbag as well, so dual airbags. But yeah, with the roof off, it feels very nice in here. There's not an awful lot of storage space, but there is still more storage space than a Smart. Okay. There is an electronic release for the, can you call it a boot? The shelf. The shelf here in the back. There's a bit of an indentation here, so you can, you know, get some stuff in here. But of course, under this cover, we have the engine access. So if I undo this little pin, I'll just keep that in my hand. Under here we find the same 698cc engine as our little Smart with the air-cooled intercooler here. But these are tuned up to 80 brake horsepower in a car that still does not weigh very much at all. Engine access, fairly terrible. As we're discovering, they're not the easiest to work on, but maybe it's a German thing. I'm reminded that on a Volkswagen T2 Transporter, you really have to drop the engine to work on the alternator at all. So that's great. I'm just going to faff about with this and get it back in. So just to note, while we're in here, we can see the roof. This is where it folds down to. But if the boot's quite heavily loaded to the point that's been pushed down, apparently the roof won't operate, so it won't try and force itself on top of stuff that is in the load bay. So that's sensible. I've noticed another quirk actually with the key, which is the same as a normal smart key. That's a diagram for a normal smart to open the boot. There is a frunk as well, so let's have a look in there. I have to go into the glove box, which of course is lockable, and pull a little handle to be able to open the frunk, or fruit if you prefer. Again, we've got a hydraulic struts, and there's enough space to take a reasonably large backpack. Mine in this case. You'll note the complete lack of any spare wheel. You are relying on a can of foam should anything go wrong. But still, it's more space than a regular Smart. It's approaching practical, and here's the screen wash bottle to be topped up if required. Right, while we've got everything open, let's start the engine. And there it is, a little 3-cylinder engine. Lots of wind noise going on as well, just because it's windy. That's a good noise for a little car to make. I mean, it's the obvious comparison to make, but really this is the modern day MG midget, Honda S660 notwithstanding. We've driven one of those as well, and that will be in the back of my mind as we conduct this test. But let's take her out and see how she behaves. Sorry, we're very excited because we just noticed these are actually seat covers covering up the original interior, which has got a kind of scribbly pattern, but they are official Smart ones. Very, very nice. Right, I'm going to apply my seatbelt, and then to engage drive, foot on the brake, lever forward. We've got A on the dashboard for automatic. We're just going to leave it in auto for now. And no power steering, so it does need quite a bit of turning. But the beauty is that it's not power steering. We're going to keep the roof off for now. This situation may change. So it's an automated clutch. Seems to work very, very nicely, to be honest. Takes up drive without you really even noticing. And then get a gear change. Apparently we don't need to change gear yet. It's very tall gearing. It's a 6-speed gearbox, so there's lots of ratios to choose from. Oh, it does pick up well. There's a lot to be said for a lightweight car. There's a bit of lag on these roundabout situations. There's our gear change. We're now into second. But, you know, the ride seems fairly good. It's not floaty soft, but it's well cushioned. And doesn't have quite the bounce. Oh, look, a Cecily alike. We used to have a C5 just like that. It hasn't got the choppiness of a Smart because it's got that longer wheelbase. Engine's quite happy to use the torque. It's not downshifting unnecessarily. There we are, we're doing 40 miles an hour, which is the limit here. It's very smooth and pleasant. Oh yeah, get up to 50 and the wind noise starts getting a bit worse. Decent little mirrors. Yeah, I was absolutely obsessed with these cars when I was younger. I just fell in love because they were so unusual, so unlike anything else that was around. There's a lot of thought gone into every detail. And yes, it was cheapened in some way. Some of the plastics are a bit nasty, but I think that was true of an awful lot of actual Mercedes-Benz cars at the time, of course. This very much being a joint project between Mercedes-Benz and Swatch watches initially, although Swatch had pulled out by the time this car came along. Now, there's enough boring dual carriageway and feeling very, very small next to the trucks. Oh yeah, there's actually some bad booming. I wonder if we can close the roof at this speed. There we go, works very nicely. I'm feeling really warm now because I've turned the heater up. Those are not smooth gear changes, but they are notably quicker than the standard Smart. Perhaps why they funk through a bit more forcefully. I need to try it in manual mode, perhaps, see if I can smooth it out a bit more, because then I might be more inclined to lift. It's hard to lift for the gear changes when you don't know where the gear changes are going to be, but by heck, that is an intoxicating noise. But yeah, that is certainly drama and power. I like that very much. It picks up very nicely indeed. It is noticeable that Smart with the second generation changed to a 5-speed gearbox. I think that's because having 6 gears just meant there were too many gear changes, and first gear became so ridiculously short. But I have to say it's a lot of fun. If you wanted real fun, they did briefly, Brabus built 10 V6 engine Smart Roadsters where they took 2 3-cylinder engines and merged them together. But I believe they were never made road legal in Germany. I don't know if they were road legal anywhere else in the world, but let's see what happens if I just plonk my foot down. Oh, it's interesting. I was expecting that to kick down, but it didn't. It just used the torque, which with the turbocharger on this little Suprex engine, it's actually quite good. You think 80 brake horse from a 700cc engine is that's going pretty well even for the day. It's like a more gentle version of a noble M12 GTO, and I'm willing to bet that is a comparison that has never been made. But it reminds me a lot of the Fiat X19 as well, another small car but was so much fun, and again which had underpinnings just taken from regular production saloons. So it very much feels like an enthusiast-led project, and I like that. I think they sold about 40,000 of them, which wasn't too bad a production run for a little car like this, and it was only in production for a few years. Yeah, beautifully mannered when you're just driving around gently. Oh, test the brakes, and thankfully all is good. It's telling me to downshift, but as I come to a stop, it's automatically put us back in first gear. We need to go right, do we? Are you sure about that? Oh, that's unfortunate, because we're going this way now. Waiting for the lights to change. We do traffic light Grand Prix, up to 40 miles an hour. Only this time I'm in manual mode. I thought that Golf wasn't going to make that.
I thought that wasn't going to make that.
Whoa! That's crazy. I don't think I've ever had so much fun accelerating up to 40 miles an hour. Oh, that is hilarious. It's the little sports car that wants to try. It's great. Oh, there we go. Is that a bit more speed? And that's us in 6th gear at 60 miles an hour, doing just under 3,000 revs. It's still pretty quiet. There's a bit of wind noise going on, but that's not too bad at all, I don't think. This is one of those sports cars that just remains pleasant. It doesn't all start getting a bit untoward when you just want to settle down and have a nice journey. So I can sit here in gear with the handbrake on. I'm not having to hold it on the pedal, and it's not fighting me like an automatic. The clutch will only engage as you start getting on the throttle. And it was interesting to note when I'm really putting my foot down, it is really trying to slip the clutch to give a good getaway. Okay. 70 miles an hour, we're now starting to get a bit of wind noise from the roof. probably more than is really desirable. With noise aside, motorways are not an issue. It's cruising along quite merrily. We're doing about 3,500 revs in 6th gear. Fairly comfortable. There is a bit of wheel arch intrusion, so the pedals are coming across a bit more than I'd really like. But it is a small car. There are going to be compromises. This example has only done about 60,000 miles. It's still fairly low for one of these. Yeah, I like it a lot. Put it back in automatic mode. We're going to go and wang it round this roundabout and go back the other way, I think.
Let's go quick.
Yeah. Oh yeah, very, very grippy. Grippier than that Audi expected, for sure. Oh yeah. By putting it in automatic mode, I can just keep both hands on the wheel. I think there was a cheaper Roadster available for a time as well. They all had a black Tritium safety cell, and I think they had a bit less power. There's a brief option on the UK market. But oh yeah, I like this very much. Very much a me sort of a car. One thing I really need to mention is there was a British attempt to revive the Smart Roadster after production ended. Initially they wanted to use the MG brand, they couldn't get hold of the MG brand, so they then decided they would use AC, but sadly it never came to fruition. It's another one of those things that sounded like it could have been amazing, especially if they fitted a proper manual gearbox, but alas it came to naught. And Smart sadly doesn't seem interested in making another funky sports car. What a shame. They're now making SUV instead. I think we'd better put the roof back again. Oh, that was a bad bump. Just to test the functionality of it. It's much nicer in here. My camera lady now looks like she's going to kill me, but that's really nice. Is it nice with the window down as well? Oh yeah. I think I want one again. Bad times.
You have a Smart, it has 2 seats.
I do have a Smart.
The same.
Mine's also a cabriolet.
Yeah.
And the roof does work, it's just a shame the engine doesn't. Oh, confused it. There we go. Oh, I like it. This is exactly what a small sports car should be. It handles really well, and it's just so much fun. It just puts a smile on your face with its comedy noises. But you feel absolutely tiny. This Ford Puma in front of us feels enormous. But there's the little dials, and if you go a little higher at the windscreen, you kind of got my view down the road. Isn't that lovely? I think I'm in my happy place. Oh, I have to say, this is a car I definitely like. Is the gearbox flawed? Yeah, but that really isn't taken away from what is an awful lot of fun. So thank you very much for watching. Don't forget you can head to the Hub Nut store and buy lovely merch if you wish, such as these beautiful plum 2CV hoodies, and we shall see you in a future video. I'm going to see if I can make the carpet you. Farewell. Oh, look at that for a wiper performance. Good overlap. No triangle. That is a lovely, lovely wiper pattern.